Good afternoon. So welcome to Teaching Learning Parenting Show. Today we're going to be talking of the critical role of parenting style in the academic performance of learners. So when we talk about learners, we're talking about both the ones in secondary school, the ones in the primary school, and the ones in higher institution, and well, learners generally. Okay, so I'm Monica, and I'm your host. With me here is your Faith and
I'm a teacher. My name is Okade Ikechukwu.
okay, so thank you, Okade Ikechukwu, and welcome. Okade Ikechukwu is actually going to be the first speaker on the show this afternoon. So, Okade Ikechukwu, we're going to leave the floor for you now to give us a talk, to shed more light into what parenting style is all about. Because when you talk about parenting
Good
style,
afternoon. I'll be talking about parenting style. First and foremost, we must know that parenting plays a vital role in the upbringing of every child, no matter, at least from 0 to 21 age. From 0 to 21 years, parenting plays a very important role. After that, let's look at the various types of parenting style that we'll be looking at today. The first type is the authoritarian parenting style. From there, we're looking at the permissive parenting style. After then, we're looking at the authoritative parenting style. Then we're looking at the neglective parenting style. Let's start from the authoritarian parenting style. That's a parenting style whereby the parents are so strict. The parents are so strict to the children. The parents, they are the alpha and omega in the home. Everything they say stays. Everything they do, the children don't have a say in that home. The home is always parent-centered. Yes, it's parent-centered, not parent-children centered. So in that case, you see the children, they perform well, but they have this fear inside of them, the fear of their parents. They have this low self-esteem inside of them. From there, we move over to the permissive parenting style. This permissive parenting style now is a parenting style that involves the parents also, and it also involves the children. But in permissive parenting style, the parents don't really care about what the children does. It's always let the children do it their own way. They only chip in a thing or two when they see that it's getting out of hand. They will be like, okay, what is happening? Why where have you been for the past 3 days? An instance whereby the child is misbehaving continuously, and the parent only complains once a week. That's for permissive parenting style. Then we move over to authoritative parenting style. In authoritative parenting style, it's a parent-student or parent-child parenting style. This parenting style, the children are being reprimanded no matter what they do. They are being reprimanded, but after being reprimanded, there's correction. The parent comes back in turn to talk to the children and say, okay, why have you done this? This is the repercussion for doing this. This is the reason why you have done this, and these are the effects of doing this. So when we look at authoritative parenting style, when we look at authoritative parenting style, you are dictating for the child. At the same time, you are also trying to tell the child that, okay, what you are doing is wrong. You are also correcting the child. There's space for correction in authoritative parenting style. Yes, there's space for correcting in authoritative parenting style. So authoritative parenting style thereby boosts the self-confidence of the child. You see, the child is self-confident, the child performs better because the child has a voice. Unlike authoritarian parenting style, in authoritative parenting style, the child has a voice. The child comes around and the child says, okay, this is what is happening, this is what is happening. Then you see the child taken to correction, the self-esteem is boosted, the child has time to mingle better with other children. Then when we look at neglective parenting style, that's the kind of parenting style where the parent is not involved in the affairs of the child. The parent is not involved. No matter what the child does, the parent is like, okay, it's your life, live it. Yes, and in such instances, the parents are uninvolved. When the parents are uninvolved, it has a negative effect on the child because these children now tend to moral vices in the society. You see these children, some of them go into alcohol, some of them go into drugs, unimaginable things. So this neglective parenting style is one parenting style which we are trying our best to curb. We are trying our best to even enlighten parents to be involved in everything that is happening with their children. Yes, that's...
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ike Okade. We have a speaker online, and her name is Carol. So I don't know, Miss Carol, if you've joined the Zoom room, can you just unmute and let's hear from your own perspective.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Chibogu. Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm honored to be invited also. Thank you very much once again.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so sorry, please, before you start your talk, I want to quickly acknowledge good afternoon, Mrs. Ngozi Ukagu. Welcome to the show. Thank you. Okay, the other guest we have on the show, the device wasn't named, so I don't know. I really don't know. So probably next time, maybe when they come on the show, it's good you name your device so that it will make it easy for us to acknowledge the guests we have on the show. Okay, so Miss Carol, can you please take the floor now? Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I guess because of network, so I couldn't get on Zoom early enough to hear Mr. Ike, that Mr. Ike Chuku Okade.
Okay.
So, but I guess he had already, I don't know if I heard correctly, but I guess he had already started talking on some parenting style.
Okay, yes, that's
So,
right.
Sorry?
I say yes, right. So that's right. So we want to hear from your angle. Okay, so you're also going to be delving into probably the outcome if you don't want to introduce the parenting styles, because he has introduced the 4 parenting styles that there are. He talked about the neglectful, the permissive, the authoritarian, and the authoritative parenting style, if I'm not mistaken. And he went ahead to give us a little bit of what they're like. So we want to hear the outcome of this parenting style from your own perspective. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, looking at these 4 parenting styles, we have the ones that are supportive and the ones that are unsupportive of a learner, that of a child of school age, okay? So looking at now, we have this neglectful parenting style where the parent is, 100% absent, like the parents are running absentee parenting, and they don't provide a form of guidance for they are just there and like, okay, anything goes. They just leave the child to just do whatever they think is appropriate. They are not even available in the first place. So a child who is growing in such a home where there's no his or her emotional needs are not catered to and catered for. And you and I know that in the 3 domains of learning or of education, it's just like a tripod stem where if maybe the cognitive and the psychomotor is being catered for, and the affective is not catered for, it's going to really affect a child's learning outcome. A child who will learn properly is such that is emotionally stable.
Okay.
And so children who experience neglectful parenting are most times not emotionally stable because they don't have parental support, which is needed. So looking at the permissive also, and the neglectful, just that the parent is present, okay, unlike the neglectful. But here the parent is present quite alright. But are you guiding the child appropriately? Are you teaching the child? Is there a bidirectional relationship or communication between the parent and the child? So here, child is just okay, anything goes. Okay, have you read your books? Have you done your homework? You and I know that, especially children of school age, if they notice the kind of parents they have, at the time that we just tell them, that you just tell, yes, you've done this, and they won't even bother to dig in deeper to find out. Of course, children, it's natural for them to tell you what you want to hear, and then they just go, oh, have you prepared for your test? Oh, yes, mommy, I have. oh, have you done your assignment? Oh, yes, daddy, I have. And then you're just fine with that answer from the child. And then child goes on, and then you just think in your head as a parent, my child is doing, should be doing well in school. Everything you're just guessing. You're not even sure. So in this case, rules are not being reinforced in the home. Rules, behavior, etiquette, nothing is being reinforced at all. The child is left to grow independently, which is unhealthy. So yeah, a child of course will be overindulged because this parent just feels to avoid issues, just to avoid their spouse, they all with no problem, no season, whatever it is. Now a child who is growing in this kind of way, of course he or she will get to, you and I know that when it comes to learning, there has to be motivation.
Okay.
Now, not every learner is intrinsically motivated. Some learners need encouragement from the outside, parental support, sibling support, So, but when the home is not a healthy supporting system, what do you get? You get a child who just gets to school, if she's in the mood to want to learn or do schoolwork today, she will. And if she's not in the mood, she's not answerable to anybody's per se, so nothing happens, anything can go.
All right, so
that child, what kind of learning do you think will be taking place with that kind of a child? So you have a half-baked learner at the end of the day who's just doing things in a way he or she just likes because he feels nobody is demanding from that child. Now looking at the authoritarian, the authoritarian and the authoritative are both parent-driven. Okay? Yes, parents demand, but one is healthy and the other is unhealthy. Okay? So one is a healthy, is a constructive support system, while the other is sort of a destructive support system. Okay? Now looking at the authoritarian parenting style, the parents are just, communication is not bidirectional. It is just, this is what I want and this is it. Back then you have parents who just say, I don't care how you do it, I want nothing less than 4.5 GPA, I want you to be a medical doctor, I want you, and then a lot of pressure is on the child. Not even being sensitive to your child's learning abilities, learning interests, because all of it go into learning. And it will go a long way also into the outcome of learning. So when a parent is just setting rules, strict rules, and telling you, okay, look, these are punishments for not doing this, these are ways of doing it, the communication is just one-sided.
Okay, so
now at the end of the day, you don't consider your child's emotional needs. You don't cater for her behavioral needs. At the end of the day, he or she will just be reading and be rebelling. So you have a rebellious learner who is just doing things not out of.
So please, the parents,
helping why to study, but because whatever, the first time money will come and start saying all sorts to my dear, please let me just do this. So there's bias in the learning process for such a child. There's bias. Learning is not, it's really not taking place. The child is just a stereotype trying to just be sticking to this. So he or she is learning because she's just sticking to this and avoid conflict.
Okay, so can you just quickly help us move to the other one so that
Sorry?
I said, can you just quickly help us move to the other one so that you can also hear from our learner. We have a learner on the show.
Okay, so now looking at the authoritative also, like I said, the authoritarian and the authoritative are both parent-driven. But looking at the authoritarian parenting style, it is an unsupportive style because here it's just a dictatorship kind of parenting style. Okay, and we talked about how it is negatively influencing learning outcomes. Now, looking at the authoritative parenting style, this is the best. This is the best kind of parenting style where you get the best from the learner. Because here the parent is involved, and not just involved, actively involved, and not even making the child passively involved. So both there's a connection. So here there's an open communication where, okay, we sit down and talk things through. We talk about the importance of doing things, the importance of why things should be done. So a child is now going to learn out of individually seeing the need to learn, seeing the advantages in it, and happily going through it. Because he or she knows that there's a healthy support system, and he also knows that, okay, there are things expected of me because they believe it in me. So here, the relationship is constructive and healthy. So a child who is being raised by parents who run the authoritative parenting style will most definitely have a very positive learning outcome. But here the parents is active support from time to time. to help solve problems go all the way to the child. So
And make
we
learning easy
it's
for
not
the
afraid
child.
of even failure. Because at this point they also see failure as a process in learning.
Okay,
and
thank you
a
very much.
process in success.
Yeah, thank you so very much for enlightening us. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So we want to hear from the learner's angle, because I'm sure she has I don't know if before now she knew that we had different types of parenting style, and you know, so that's why we wanted to talk about. But she wants to tell us what she feels about this parenting style, and what kind of parenting style is being practiced at home with her, and how it has affected her learning outcome. So, Miss Faith, can we hear from you now?
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, there are different types of parenting styles, and there are different ways it affects the child or its effect on the child. The authoritarian, the
Permissive, the neglectful, the authoritative. Thank you.
This type of parenting style, which is the neglectful, there are these ones that their child is not free. Their child is free, but they go into several things that are not good, and the society will regard them as a person that is not trained
Okay.
from the home.
Okay.
For permissive, this type of parent, it's mostly occurs with traveling parents.
So parents who are not present, you mean?
Present
Okay.
this time.
So they just bring their children, register them in school, put a maid in the house, call the maid every time to say have they gone to school, are they back home, they've done their assignment.
They'll be
So we
like,
call them absentee parenting.
yes.
Okay, beautiful.
They used to be like, I've sent you to school, I'm paying your school fees, it's left to you to do what you want. While the authoritarian, they are strict, yes, but they set high standard. The only reason is that they set high standard without telling the child why. And the child becomes, okay, why do I have to do this? Because my parents said I should do this. And more pressure on the
And
child.
the learners in this age now want to know why. Okay.
Yeah, they are eager to learn, so they want to know why their parents said that. And with that, they'll have no self-esteem. They can't talk to anyone. They just be on their own. And that's not education. Education is supposed to be free. The children are supposed to be free learning things.
Okay.
And this brings low self-esteem.
Okay, so sorry dear, I want to ask you, in your own home, what kind of parenting do you think is being practiced?
My mom is an authoritative.
Okay.
But my dad, I would say, is in between authoritarian and uninvolved.
So that means you can tell me your dad has been partly authoritarian and neglectful?
Yes.
Okay. So now, how has this parenting style helped you, affected you, and how have you been able to, thrive in school, knowing fully well that from one angle it is this style, from the other angle it is this style, Mommy is there's no synergy between mommy's parenting style and daddy's parenting style. So how do you cope at that? Are you not confused or something?
Because my dad, he always goes to work a lot, and it's just my mom at home. So I try to just tell my feelings to my mom. She gives me advice. I go to school, sorry. I see my teachers, they are nice, but they teach well. And I decide that, yes, even if no one can listen me, even if no one can say you can do it, my mom is there for me, my teachers are there for me, and my friends are there for me. So I must do this to make my mother proud. Even if my dad might be absent, he's just the type of person that I feel just so he thinks I will be all good when he has paid my school fees. But parenting style to teach me and the way I am is more important, because my mom, I might tell her that, Mommy, I've done my homework. Before I sleep that night, she must check my back and must
To
check
be
that.
sure that you've done. So she's involved.
Yes.
Okay.
Because children, they can lie.
Of course.
And I will say that I don't lie.
Yes. Okay.
Well, because I don't want to do it at that time. Maybe because of phone or anything. My mom will
Because
decide
of
to
phone.
check.
Okay, so we're going to be talking of this learning in this technological world now, and how it affects our learners because of phone. So we see that at times the digital space has actually created room for our learners to tell lies, not to be involved at times in the academic. Okay, no, we're not digressing today. We're talking about the learning style, so we're listening.
So I always my mom will always check the grades and make sure I've done it. and make
Okay.
sure I'm also ready for
For
tomorrow.
the next day, okay.
Yeah.
So how does that make you feel, really?
It makes me feel happy myself that at least one person feels that I could do it. One person supports me. One person helps me a lot. That really.
But you would have loved if your dad was actually as involved as your mom, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I love what she said. So her mom is really involved, okay? Her mom is the authoritative style, which would set standards, rules, but give you freedom, you know, and then you can communicate with her. She's really involved. But her dad is the neglectful type who is not even involved. All he's concerned about is his pay your fee, and whatever you do, all I want to see is result in the end. Doesn't even check your results. Doesn't even get to know.
I tried to persuade him that this is my result.
Okay, so you even have to take your result to your dad to let him see your result before he even knows that you vacated or something. Okay, that's very beautiful. Now, one thing I would like us to quickly go into, because we're running out of time before we wrap up this show, is I want to have a comparison between the learning outcome, the parenting style now is learning outcome in a private school, and the parenting style and learning outcome in a government school. So Mr. Ike here is a teacher in a government school, and Ms. Carol is a teacher in a private school. I want to see, because people keep saying, for me, I feel that learning is learning. Okay, a teacher is a teacher unless a teacher is not ready to give his or her best, because it doesn't matter what school you're in. I mean, I've seen those who volunteer to teach, and they probably are under a roof and just few chairs, no house like per se, like what the standard class should be, and they're still giving in their best because it's what they want to do. They're interested in the learner getting the best. So for me, I don't think it's about the school, except for the resources being provided. So I want to know, Mr. Ike Okade, how is it like in government school? Do you think there is any business parenting style, or whether it's authoritarian or permissive or whatever, it's just a child, as long as the child is involved in school? Is that what it is like?
Okay, so in a government setting, in a government school, we have more students.
Okay.
Yes, we are dealing with more students. We are dealing with different students of different backgrounds.
Okay.
Yes. Then we have some parents. We have neglectful parenting style in the government school. We have permissive. In fact, we have the whole four:
Okay.
neglectful, permissive, authoritarian, and authoritative. Yes.
Okay.
But there's something with the government school. Those children that are ready to learn. You see it from their heart. They are really ready to learn due to certain factors. Either they don't want to be the way their parents are.
Okay.
Then you see they are determined inside of them to make a difference. And you see them struggling hard. Right from a very young age, you see them, okay, I'll be better. I'll be better. Then you see those that are carried away by peer groups. Maybe their parents are not involved, or some of them, their parents are involved, but because of their peer group, some of them are mostly influenced by their peer
Okay,
group.
so sorry, permit me to ask you. So, from what you said, now I'm trying to fashion out something like what I understood now. So it means that irrespective of the parenting style, peer group is another issue
Yes,
on its own.
it's a strong
Another
influence.
factor that
Yes.
affects learning outcome is beautiful.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
so
yes. So
yeah.
if a child finds himself with the right peer, he tends to perform better.
Okay.
He finds himself with the wrong peer, irrespective of the parenting style now.
Okay.
He finds himself with the right peer, he tends to perform better.
Okay, so it's not only parenting
Yeah, it's
style,
not only
but
parenting
learning
style
outcome
now. Yes,
now.
for learning
Beautiful.
outcome. The
Okay.
peer group too is also a strong factor.
Factor of beautiful.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let's hear from Carol, please, are you there? If Carol is there, please can you unmute yourself and let's hear from your own angle. Parenting style, learning outcome in a private school. Is Miss Carol there? Okay, so while we're waiting for Miss Carol, so like you heard what he said about parenting style and peer group and affecting learning outcomes too. Okay, so what school do you go to? You're in a private school, and how many are there in your class?
31.
There are 31 in your class. So what number are you looking at when you said in government school, you have a lot of students to deal with? What number are we looking at?
So we're looking at, let's say 70.
In one class?
Yes.
Wow. For junior school or for senior school?
Senior school.
For senior school. So for junior school, what is it like?
Like 50, 60.
Wow. So that's still Okay. Okay, so now, do you think that irrespective of the parenting style, that the number of students in the class or pupils in the class is not actually what affects the learning outcome more than the parenting style? No, it doesn't. Okay. Okay, so what um, you're saying is that irrespective of the number, as long as the parents are involved,
Yes.
they would help the children know the reason why they're in school
Yes.
and work hard to make sure that they measure up to what they're supposed to measure up to. Okay, do we have Miss Carol there now? Okay, so one of our guests wants to speak. Yes. Okay, can we have you unmute yourself now? Thank you. You can unmute yourself and contribute if you want to. Okay, sorry, are you still there? Okay, are you there? Oh, okay. So sorry, I was muted. I didn't know I was actually muted. Okay. So Mr. Aki Okade was actually talking about
Yes, I am.
okay. Okay, you want to contribute? Sorry? Please.
Listen, I just joined it now.
Okay, so let me just give you a breakdown on the show is going to, we'll soon wrap up. Okay, so well, we're going to continue. Yes, we're going to continue this topic next week. So, but what Mr. Ike actually said was he talked about the parenting styles, and he says that we have. Can you please mute yourself? Thank you. Okay, so he said that we have the permissive, neglectful, the authoritarian, and authoritative, and Ms. Carol also, confirmed that the style is a parenting style that is being practiced in the world. Okay, and I now said, okay, let's look at this parenting style and differentiate the outcome of the learner in a government school and the outcome of the learner in a private school. So we've been able to look at the outcome of a learner in a private school, and is making us see that even though we have these four kind of learners, that such may not be practicable in the private school. Although we've not heard from the other guest who is a teacher in a private school to know if all have been practical. He confirmed to us that the neglectful, permissive, authoritative, and authoritarian parenting style are all being practiced in the government school, and that in a class they have like 70 or 50 in number, like 50 students in a class, 70 students in the class. But what he can say is that you can see the parents who are involved in their children's academics, even though they are in government school, they still do very well because their parents are involved. So that the parenting style is not for him, it's not about what school a child is in. Okay, that for him the factors are that a parent is involved and that no peer pressure. But once the parents are uninvolved and then there is a peer factor there again, that this will be problem to getting either a good learning outcome or not getting a good learning outcome. Okay, so we're going to stop on this note today because the show just has to stop now. We don't have much of a time again. So thank you, Mr. Ike, for being part of the show. I hope to have you next week again so that we can dissect the differences in the learning outcome of private and government school, because we don't get this privilege to see you all the time. So thank you so much for all those who came on the show online. We're so grateful that you were able to make it, and for those who weren't able to contribute, don't worry, we're going to still continue with the same topic next week, and you get to talk and give your own contributions too. And please, when you're coming in through Zoom next week, if you're going to be our guest on Zoom, please kindly name your device so that we can access you through your name, so that I won't be saying, oh sorry, Galaxy or something. That's just not good enough. So it's not appropriate. Thank you. So I would like to see your name and call you by the name that we have there. So Ms. Faith, also thank you for being on the show, and I hope that at least you were able to pick something from this learning styles you've seen, and at least you're able to also see how you can manage your mom who is involved and your dad who is involved. So thank you everyone. We hope to see you all again next week. And once again, I'm Monique and I'm the host. Okay, bye.